morning everyone, it's Mich here, and today I thought we would do another card in the Card a Week Until Christmas playlist. I'm not sure which card we're on now, but I thought that we could create this card. I don't know where I got it. I didn't make this one myself. I do participate in some card swaps, so I'm thinking that maybe it was part of the card swap. And so I'm not taking credit for the design, but I really liked it and I wanted to make a couple more. So I thought it would be a good card that we could create together. The things that we're going to need is we're going to need a card base, and this one measures 4 4¼ by 5½. So what this is basically half of a letter size paper. So here in Canada, our letter size is 8½ by 11. So you just take it down the 5½ side and cut that in half. And then just fold that in half. So that's going to be our card base. So the next thing we need is this little flap. And because it's autumn, I thought maybe we could do autumn colors. For this piece of paper, we're going to need a piece of card. The one side is 5½ and this is 4 3/4. Okay, so and on the 4 3/4 side, you're going to score at 3/4. So you can either take your measure about 3/4 and fold it across a ruler. If you have a scoreboard, you can use that. But we basically want a 3/4 score line, and that is 3/4. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is find the center of the paper. So on a 5½ piece of paper, the center is at 2 3/4. So you're just going to make a little mark at 2 3/4. And then just fold the score line over, and across the top, you're going to come in about 1½ inches on top and bottom. So 1½ inches top and bottom. Okay, and then you can either take a sharp X-Acto knife and cut that off, or you can line it up on your scoreboard. And to do that, you would just put the 1½ on your cutting groove and the half. Okay, so trying to get this lined up. Mine does have a wire, that's why I like this cutter. And often if I'm cutting on an angle, I bring my blade kind of into the middle and I do a cut up and a cut down, and that gives me a cleaner cut. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to line up that point and the 1½, and you're just going to make another little score. All right, so that's going to give you, I think we're done with this for now. That's going to give you your point. There we go. So I do, as in this, the example, it's rounded. The corner is rounded, so I'm just going to do a corner round. And this is just my We Are Memory Keepers corner round. And I want a bigger round. So with this one here, it's not as clean as I would like it because I cut it on the smaller one first. So I'm just going to round that with my scissors a little bit better. And then I'll be happy with that. So if you do have an option of sizes, I used the 10mm on my We Are Memory Keeper corner rounder. Okay, so now what we're going to need is you can either cut out on your scoreboard or cut it out with your ruler a square that's 2 inches square. So that's 2 inches. I have some nesting dies that I think I got from AliExpress, maybe Amazon, and so you're going to affix that evenly in your square. So if you just cut it out from a piece of paper, then just set your piece of paper down, draw around it, and take your sharp knife and just go around it. I'm going to put mine through my die cut machine. Put that off to the side. And we have our cutout. Okay, and that's roughly the same size. I don't really need that centerpiece, although you could keep it and use it. Actually, maybe that's what we'll do. Just keep that for now, but we're finished with the die cut. So we have our card base, we have our flap, right? And then I already cut out just some background pattern paper. I cut out two pieces of that, and I liked this. Kind of gave me an autumn feel, and this paper measures just 1/4 inch smaller, so it's 4 by 5 1/4. So I've done this for the top panel, which I'll get that on now. I'm just using just some tape runner. You can use some glue. Just be careful not to use too much glue, as or PVA glue like glitter glue or whatnot, because it is water-based and it can make your card warp. Excuse my head. I'm just going to draw this a little bit closer so that my head's not stuck in the way. And I'm just trying to line it up from the side, the bottom, and I'm leaving roughly an eighth of an inch. And that's a little bit more down below. If I can just readjust that a little bit. Well, I guess I can't. So I have a little bit more of a border down the bottom than up the top, but I'm okay with that. And so for the inside panel, you can do one of two things. So with this card, the flap is just tacked to the back. If you don't want to see that, then you can put your flap on the inside and put your paper over top of it to kind of hide that a bit, and then you wouldn't have that back flap. But I'm okay with the back flap. And for this one here, it's cardstock on cardstock, so I am just going to use a little bit of glue. It's not a lot, but it will also help to really adhere that flap on the back. And I also have a little, with you using the glue, at least you have a bit of wiggle room. Okay, so get that on there, like so. All right, and then you can put another panel on the inside, or you can just leave it blank. It's up to you. I think I am going to put a panel on the inside. So I'm just going to put, again, just a little bit of runner tape. And I often, which I didn't do for the front, I'll put it on and kind of see what my margins are like. So that's roughly how much margin I need around the card. So then I can better gauge where that panel is going to go. And voila. So because I've got this really busy background, I also just cut out another little panel. Just I want it a little bit smaller than this. I wanted it like, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out smaller so that I see more of the background, and then I'll have a little writing space there. So that's the inside. So then for the outside, we can do a couple things. We can use that piece of paper that we cut out from the hole to make that background panel. I also had cut out just another piece of patterned paper, which I like a little better. So I am going to tack this down with a little bit of glue because I want to make sure that it is straight and centered. And at least with the glue, it'll allow me to have that little bit of wiggle room. I don't need a whole lot of glue on this. it's not like it's going to be undergoing any kind of wear. So I want to line it up so that it's straight, so that the line, because there is a line in it, be better if there probably wasn't. So if you've got a little insert that's directional, you want to make sure it's lined up. And then I just want roughly the same amount of space in the triangles. Okay, this could go down just a little bit. Like so. So I'm happy with where that's placed. Okay, and then I have a little button. So we're going to put the button on as a bit of a tuck. And to do that, I'm just going to use a glue dot. So I'm just going to, glue dots hold things quite well. So I'm going to put that in the middle of the button so that I have a bit of an edge. And then I'm just going to get that down so that that holds your card bit down. And then for your sentiment, you could do a lot of different things, but what I decided that I would do, just trying to find my little insert, I cut a couple off, but when I moved my Cuttlebug over, I think they went flying. Here they are. So I just used it on plain paper, okay, and I'm going to put it in sort of on an angle. And you can pretty much use, you know, not pretty much, you can use any sentiment that you want. This one's "You Are Made of Wonderful." It is around Thanksgiving time. Not all countries celebrate Thanksgiving. And in Canada, we celebrate it a lot earlier than they do in the States. But you can put whatever sentiment. You can put, you know, autumn days, or welcome autumn, happy fall, thank you, happy Thanksgiving, whatever. Just you do need to be mindful that it's only a small square. So I had this set that I bought at my local crafts store, and I really like Let Your Dreams Come True. So I thought that that's what I would put down. And I always just, when I go to stamp something, I'm just using my archival ink. It's quite old. I just keep re-inking it. And I'm using a foam mat because it is a clear polymer stamp, and sometimes that little extra with the foam mat allows a crisper image, and sometimes not. So I'm just going to stamp that first. Oh, I don't think I need that because that stamps quite well. So I'm just going to use that, and I'm putting it at an angle, and I apologize for my head, and I'm trying to line this up without my head coming in the way. I also cut out a couple of these. Oh, that's cute. Just in case I have a couple on hand. So with this one here, I used the nesting dies, and this was 1.5. But again, you could just cut a piece of paper, and I am going to then put that in with a little bit of glue and try to make sure that my sides up, my 4 sides are roughly even. Okay, and then I think that is a sweet card. So you open it up and you have your dream big, wishing you well. You can add more bling. You could put some little beads or pearls, but I'm happy with that. So if you like this card, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you already haven't. I really appreciate everybody that subscribes. Leave me a comment, and until next week, I hope you have a great week. Bye for now.